Tokenism is a practice that's dominant in the workplace, but also sifts into other aspects of our personal lives. Today, we discuss tokenism and how it sets our society backwards. Welcome to Why Women Roundtable Conversation powered by Knorr for International Women's Month. I am Tomike Adeoye, your host. Welcome, my powerful women, to Why Women Roundtable Conversation. Are you excited?
Yeah.
You should be, because how we start the show is really exciting. But before we do that, I'll introduce my beautiful women who are seated right here at the round table. We have Fumi Abiola, Head of Marketing, Masila Motors. Welcome. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
And of course, we have Ezine Eziani, COO, MBRC, and founder, Shikan Nigeria.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Thank you.
We have Fi Toyo, East and West Africa Marketing Manager, GlaxoSmithKline. You almost gave me that tongue twister. I said, no, I'm gonna finish it before you destroy me. Welcome.
Thank you, Tomike.
Thank you. And of course, we have Elizabeth Onyema, Advanced Clinical Weight Loss Practitioner. Welcome.
Thank
and
you
it's
so
time to
much.
welcome the very important person on this show, which is Chef Emeka. Welcome, Chef Emeka.
Welcome,
Okay, so today I have a roast tomato soup for you. Simply put, naturally tasty ingredients in there. So just roasted the tomatoes.
Looks good.
Very
I know, right?
simply.
So excited.
Put some paprika in there. Put some yogurt, some basil. So naturally tasty. Obviously, we used some Knorr cubes and made a stock. And then we blended that down. And I'm serving it today with a nice bit of toast spaghetti. So
Thank
hopefully
you.
enjoy that. So
Thank you.
bon appetit, ladies.
Merci.
Let's begin.
Say it out loud now. Let me hear you.
It's nice, actually.
Hey, don't swallow it. It's my
It's really nice. Very creamy.
Okay, so now that we've bribed you, just kidding. Are we ready for the conversation?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Okay, so diving straight into it. I mean, many would say that tokenism does not exist, but truth is we cannot ignore the fact that it does exist. We have had cases where at political gatherings or at church gatherings, you have board filled with men, and then they just come together and say, this board, say this women see us now, they go talk, say no woman dey here. Let's just put a woman so that at least she's just there as a figurehead, not even necessarily about the qualification or anything. It just to put her there. So it does exist. But have you experienced it firsthand, or do you know someone who has experienced it?
So I can think back to my days in primary school, right? This whole phenomenon of tokenism started quite early. Then you do all these debates, you go and represent your school in debates, and sometimes it was like an all-male panel, and then you have one teacher say, let's just put one girl there. There's no girl there. So even from an early age, it's something that is so ingrained in the fabric of our society and even in the world at large. So it's something that I've seen. Luckily, hasn't happened to me in my career, at least since I left school. But I've seen this happen so many times. Yeah.
So it truly does exist.
Honestly, I've never, I can't recall any particular experience or even from a friend or somebody that has gone through stuff like that. But even if I know that if I'm placed in such a position, because even if I can't talk much about an experience or someone else's experience, I sure do know how I would feel if I do find out at the end of the day that I'm being placed in a place. because do you understand? Like, I'm trying to
Tick a box.
do you get what I'm trying to say? I'm going to be I'm thinking about it right now, and it's not such a very beautiful feeling, So yeah, I don't know that I'm going to go do something really crazy and probably just walk out of that place or something. Because I'm just being honest here. Because if I have to be placed somewhere, then I want to know I'm being placed there based on merit.
Exactly.
And not just because they're trying to create an impression to people I don't even know. And that's not nice if it does happen.
Yeah.
Well, the truth is, in this world of diversity now, That's something that happens a lot. Now that, everyone is going, oh, we must look good in the face of everybody, rather than just having maybe only men. Oh, no, why don't you introduce the women? So I remember a few years ago when we were going to hold a conference, She Can Do More conference, where we feature, women who have done exceptionally well in their industries, especially male-dominated industries. And we went to a few STEM companies, different STEM companies, to do a data analysis to know. And we figured out that a lot of these people, even on the board, didn't have women. And the few women who were there, when we questioned it, we were like, okay, so how did they get there? When we interviewed them, we found that some of them were just either admin or something. But at some point, because for a long time, they had only men as board members. So it felt like, our organization does not accept diversity, because if we don't have a woman there, that means we're not broad, so to say. So I noticed that then, and we talked about it. And during our conference and some time later, we still spoke more on that. So it's a case that happens a whole lot.
And picking up on what you said, I mean, this could definitely bring about several issues. The fact that you said there are organizations where women are occupying top positions just because, let's put a woman at this position. Let's talk about some of the issues that could arise from this. Because if you have somebody who is not qualified filling a position,
such a person will never be able to grow.
Exactly.
Do you understand? Like, to think about it, knowing that I'm being placed in a board, and then I'm just being placed there because I'm just some kind of figurehead, And then when it comes to a period where maybe the president, like, there wouldn't be any room for you to grow. You can't get better. You're just going to remain there, redundant, giving nothing. Then afterwards, when they're done with you, they dump you. Like,
actually. But I think
what's that?
It also depends on the perspective. What if we look at it like giving an opportunity actually to a woman to show that she does have her role to play there?
But I think
so, for example, I mean, I know you could always look at things from the negative side.
True.
But then if I'm given an opportunity to go there as a woman and you just place me there to be a figurehead, I would show you that I have my place here.
Truth.
So I would use that opportunity to do something, knowing that I'm also opening up doors for other people. So that's another way to look at it.
Yes.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I agree. Yeah. Because the truth is, whether or not these things will not stop, it won't end here, it won't end now. It's something that will always continue. And something I say to people is, women, most times, we like to take the back seats. So when opportunities come, you don't see a woman throwing herself out for this opportunity. Rather, you see more men throwing out themselves. So there's a vacancy, for instance, coming from the HR background. Okay. There's a vacancy, and you say to few women, we're recruiting soon, get ready. Now, these people are already waiting. Rather than, and most times you see that the CVs or the mails that will be coming in are from men. And these men sometimes may not be so qualified for that role. But because a woman feels, I'll be judged if I step forward, or I might be criticized, now she takes the back seat. And when she does that, understanding that there are so many things too, so many hurdles or so many things that would distract her, have her time running up the ladder. Children, family, and all that. So, and she wants to take out time to be more qualified. Women will like to be more qualified before we step into an opportunity. True. And that's why it looks like the men are always in front. So I say to women, look, when you see an opportunity, go all out. Take it. Yes. If you fail, you learn on the job. Yes. So just take the opportunity and move. Because when you don't move, we have more men. And when you have more men, how do we talk about gender equality in the future?
And you've just highlighted one of the ways we can tackle this. But are there other ways in which we can tackle this issue at hand?
I think it starts from the society. So have you seen those textbooks that were flying around social media that says daddy goes to work and then mommy is at home washing plates? If a child is taught that when they grow up, what do you expect? So I think as parents, first of all, we need to teach our children that male, female, your gender does not have anything to do with your success and how far you can go, in your career. We also need to show different images in our textbooks. We need to look at the curriculum. Show women as pilots, show women as soldiers, as doctors, men as nurses, right? There should be no profession that is tied to a certain gender. So start with that before we even go into the offices. And then also look at politics. If you don't have, we have token women in politics, let's be honest. If you don't have 50-50 inclusion in politics, then those policies to be able to enable this to happen will not they just won't happen, right?
Sure.
And then men need to be engaged in the conversation. That's something that we miss out on. If it's just women that are leading this whole conversation of
Yes.
inclusion, it's likely not to happen. So we need to bring everybody together and start from the home. Women are the ones that make, people.
Yeah.
Men are the ones that help women, raise children. So we need to start from the homes, the teachers, everywhere, and just I can talk for days on this.
I'm loving it.
Adding to what you're saying, actually, I think that we're influenced by what we see. So, for example, you're in the marketing space, you have a role to play as well.
Yes.
So, when we're promoting products, are we always promoting women in the kitchen, or what exactly are we showing people that women can do? So we can change the narrative as well.
Absolutely.
Same as the media. So we need to start telling stories of these women who are breaking ground so that people can believe that it is possible. Because I like to use myself as an example. I come from a background where my grandmother started off as a housewife, but she went to school while she was a housewife, and then she became, director on the board of several banks. So this for me is a model. You can't tell me that a woman cannot do it, because this is what I grew up seeing.
Yes.
I knew it was possible. In my
Yes.
mind, there's no other way
Yes.
to be a woman than to be able to achieve great things.
Sure.
Yeah,
unfortunately, we have to go on a quick break right now. This conversation is really heated, and I know we still want to dive into our sim. You are still watching Why Women Roundtable Conversation, powered by Knorr. We'll be right back.
I've been looking at you from across the way, and I think about you almost every day. Now I think that I must have a crush on you. I hope that you feel it too. Paradise is waiting for us, so take my hand. You and me in la la land. Ooh.
It's the natural ingredients and rich flavor of Knorr that brings people together.
Welcome back. You are still watching Why Women Roundtable Conversation for International Women's Month, powered by Knorr. I have my power women here, and it's time for the next thing on our menu. We can take a wild guess. What's coming?
Chef Emeka.
Chef Emeka. What's coming through? Take a wild guess. Chef, don't know. You made it too easy for them. I was telling them to guess. I wouldn't have gotten this. Mashed potatoes.
And then like
Some steak?
I don't know, it's not steak.
Is that ribs?
Pork.
Lamb
ribs.
shank.
There's a black plate.
We can guess what we're having.
Avocado.
No.
Is this not
Is that
avocado?
guacamole?
I can see green peas.
Green peas. Yeah.
Okay, so we're having lamb chops.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Some lamb chops.
Okay, no, sorry.
Mashed potatoes.
It's not
and
spring
peas.
onion.
Yes. Yeah, sure, spring onion.
I can see it.
For a garnish.
Yeah.
So that's what we're having. Just some
Looks
some
nice.
pan-seared
Yeah.
lamb chops. And
It's yummy too.
peas. And obviously we use some to make some naturally tasty
Thank you.
Thank
you.
Thank
God
you.
bless.
Thank you, Chef Emeka.
Thank you.
Stop.
Thank you.
Going for the lamb first.
Really nice.
This is where I feel like telling you to just continue the conversation. Just let me enjoy this delicious.
It's really, really nice. Yeah.
It's nice.
It is really nice. Like I'll do anything for the
I want to drop
for
my
the
pot.
peas and
Taking
everything.
care
It's so
of
nice.
calories.
Really,
Yeah.
really good.
Not like
Almost finished my.
That's good. Shows you
That's so
enjoying.
funny.
It's so good.
Yeah, it is.
Don't worry, it's and let me just do the talking. So
it's
I'll
okay.
collect
Gladly.
my- All right, and speaking of the workplace now, gender differences definitely affect the way women function. Now, what are some of the impacts of this? I mean, the way a man would function is obviously different from the way a woman would function, if we're being completely honest. But when society puts that ban and puts all of that in place and doesn't even put a structure that enables you to function to your fullest, it tends to affect a lot of things in the workplace. So what are some of the impacts? I mean, we're women and we work. So you as a woman, how does this impact?
We're just having a conversation.
Oh, about what?
About
I think I heard that. About pregnancy, childbirth, right?
See,
I was going to reach there.
marriage, kids, everything is beautiful, right? But I feel like it knocks you back as a woman a couple of years.
Sure.
Yeah, it does.
Because a man going into the office and can stay till midnight. He doesn't care what's happening at home.
Yeah.
But as a
Exactly.
woman, you have to go home at a certain time to do school runs, make sure dinner's on the table, you know, depending on the sort of family that you come from. So I think that can be limiting in terms of the fact that you might not be able to give 150% like a man because of some of your other commitments that your husband may not have to face, right? And another thing is maternity leave. So that 4 to 6 months absence, a lot can happen in 4 to 6 months.
Exactly.
Do you get? I know people that have gone for maternity leave, and during that time, their mates were promoted.
Yeah.
But they did not have that opportunity to make some
Just
level of
because they were
impact.
making a family.
Exactly. So those are some of the things. So you find as a woman, you have to double and overcompensate
Yes.
for those things, for that lost time.
So how do we tackle these issues in the workplace? What are some of the suggestions? I mean, if we have CEOs watching this, what are some of the things we would like them to put in place to ensure that the workplace is a safe and a happy place for a woman? I mean, we're going through a lot already. You don't want to be adding to it. You should be trying to make it a better place. Many women would not have been able to recover from what you went through and pick themselves back up from such situations.
Yes.
If the process is transparent, I think it helps. It goes a long way, really. If we know what the criteria for promotion is, then there's no discussion about it.
Exactly.
I qualify or I don't qualify.
Exactly.
And then also in organizations, you know, there should be a safe space where women can actually go and complain on some of the issues that they face.
Yes.
You know, so whenever they're victims of discrimination, which support system is in place to fight these battles for them?
Sure, I agree.
Yeah. Another thing that a lot of companies have started is the women leadership initiatives, right? So for example, where I work, you know, we have the body. And so every 8th of March, you know, we have International Women's Day celebration, there are panel discussions, which is good, but it's not enough. The conversation needs to be ongoing and men need to be involved, you know, so that's something that's very important. In addition to what Fumi said about, you know, the safe spaces. So I think that organizations really need to share that and forget about tokenism and now look at more of 50-50 diversity and inclusion. So I was very happy when I saw, you know, for example, Guinness Nigeria recently shared their leadership team, right? And 50% of the leaders there were women. I literally counted. I was like, oh, wow, half. You know, other companies as well, when you look at their board, 50-50 women. And I heard something. We did not pick them because they were women. We picked them because they were the best people for the job.
Yes.
But one of the things that companies can start to do, you know, we've heard about graduate trainee programs. What about women leadership programs? Where you bring in graduates, you know, from when they're young and start to actually
nurture them. Yeah, I
Yes.
was going to talk about that career progression within an organization. I mean, why should they bring somebody as a figurehead to come and take over a position when they obviously over the
people
years
who
have
have
had,
stayed
like, you know, who have stayed over the years
almost
and they've
all
been
their
allowed to
life.
progress, you know, in that same organization. You get me? So such a person, if over the years has, you know, done everything right and, you know, is qualified for whatever position there is, then she should take it up. Do you understand? That way, they don't have to pay somebody or, you know, like, you know, put somebody's name on the payroll and know that she's just been paid because she's trying to. That's like, to me, I think it's a waste of resources, honestly. So if there's going to be career progression within the organization where people can grow, women can grow up to that height, then it should be highly encouraged, honestly.
I'm just going to take it from another perspective, since we've also talked about from the organizational point of view. So now, as women, part of the things that would help is, for me, or maybe I shouldn't, you know, say general, for me, what I have done actually is to see my life, my entire life, as a project. So with that, it helps me stay more focused and organized. So I know that this is the time I leave the house. This is the time I get off work. This is the time that, you know, I need to take care of family. This is the time I need to do certain things, laundry and all. Now, when you understand that your life, everything about your life should be organized as a project, the same way on your job, you have project timelines, you do all of those things. Do it with your family, with your health, with checkup times and all. Because when you do this thing, and also if you can seek help, get help. Sometimes we think, oh, we must do
Superhuman.
everything. You know, I must be the one to wash the house, or I must clean the house, I must cook the... If you can get domestic staff, if you can afford it, get people who can clean the house while you focus on other things. If you can really get help.
You know, many would say that some of these issues arise because women are financially independent, financially dependent on maybe their men or their parents and all of that. And at times it's justified, because when you have issues like what you went through, where do they expect you to get the money from? How do people expect you to survive? But how can women attain financial independence? I mean, how do they get to that level where you can stand on your feet and you want to buy something, you don't have to make a phone call? Because truth is, if somebody is calling you every time and asking you for money, at some point I'll be like, yo, your life is I own you, I rule you, because at the end of the day I'm taking care of you. True. It is the honest truth, if we're being very honest. But how do we get to that level where we can stand on our feet? I mean, look at you women here today. I know it's not biz with the society that we are in, with the way it's hard to make money, but you're still grinding and doing all of it. So how would you advise that women get to this level?
So I think it starts from education, really. True. First of all, everybody needs to be given access to education, because that's the basic. We need to have more role models. So showing other women that it's possible, or younger girls that it's possible, you know, if we have the, you know, Mrs. Ibuku Awoshikas of this world and all of that, these are people that inspire you to want to do more and to give it your best shot. So when you have role models in life, then obviously you can go further. It breaks those mindset limitations, because as I said, I don't have certain limitations because of the role models that I was privileged to have in my life. So if everybody has a role model, they can know that this is possible. If this lady can do this, I can do it myself.
I have a different perspective. I love everything you said. And my take is this: leverage on your passion. Every woman has a passion. There is something you love to do. Look at my story, for instance. Strange story. I read banking and finance in university. I know nothing about being a clinical weight loss consultant. Do you understand? And I just couldn't just imagine having to live my life in a way where I have to tell my husband, hey, baby, I want this, then I want that. No. So I just kept trying my hands on everything I loved doing. I loved to bake. I tried to bake. I tried baking and selling. It didn't make sense. Then I went ahead to, okay, fine, I love to do makeup, and I tried that, and it wasn't, you know, just like that. But finally, what actually broke the camel's back was I had the personal experience. In the years of putting my hands, trying to do different things, I got pregnant, had kids, became fat, you know, became ill, because I had a condition, pre-diabetes, you know, and then I had this horrible case called sleep apnea. And everywhere I went, the doctors told me it is connected with your weight. Madam, you have to lose weight. What has my weight got to do with what's happening to me? I had to go back to school. Do you understand? And that has basically what has fueled my passion. By the time I was done, I said, hell no, no woman is going to be trapped in her body because she has 3 kids. Do you understand me? No, every woman deserves to be beautiful. So I leveraged on my passion. Do you understand? When you leverage on your passion, you can monetize it. Honestly, you don't even need to go to school for it.
And I think it's actually safe to say that you did great. I mean, you did well. We wouldn't be here today if you did not leverage on it. And at the end of the day, they say everything happens for a reason.
Yes.
But if you don't see that reason, then nothing is going to happen.
True.
You saw that this was happening, and you decided to make a reason out of it and bring something forth from it. So yes, what you are going through might not be pleasant as a woman, and it's okay. But the minute you now look at it and say, okay, it's not pleasant, it's not pleasant, what can I do about this?
Thank you.
You never can tell what will come out of it.
Yes.
So always grab onto everything. Is an opportunity for something to happen. So it's left to you to grab that opportunity and make something happen for yourself.
Absolutely. Okay, so I grew up in a very traditional home. Both my parents were there. My dad had a business, and he took care of the entire family. However, even though my dad took care of all the bills, my mom was like, I'm going to work. Right? So my mom worked up until she retired. But she always told us something. She said, this one I married a rich man. I'm still going to work. I'm going to save my coins because anything can happen. Sure. I have friends whose husbands have sent them packing. I have friends who have lost their husbands. I also have friends that when they were growing up, dad died, mom was a housewife, and all of a sudden I have a friend that was very wealthy and the mom had to become a cleaner, right, just to send her children to school. So my mom always puts it in our heads, you guys must work, you must earn a living. So I think it starts with, us as parents telling our children, both male and female, like, look, you have to get your hands busy.
Exactly.
And then you as a woman, your mindset. Don't look at, some
Mindset.
people look at their fathers or their husbands as a meal ticket. Look at it that, look, I'm in this world on my own, and I must produce something, right? Because even the Bible says that a wise man will leave an inheritance for his children's children. It's not just wise man, wise woman.
Yes.
Okay, so let us get that mindset right. And then you pick your struggle, or you pick your hustle, sorry.
Pick your
She
hustle.
mentioned education, she mentioned passion, skill set. So look at in Yoruba, they say onoko waja. There are
Exactly.
too many routes to the
Yeah.
market.
To make
So
it.
mine is conventional, 9 to 5, and then I have a business as well. For some people, it's buying and selling. Some people, it's monetizing their passion of makeup and writing, whatever it is. But what you need to know is find it and let your hands be busy and just keep going. Do not despise the days of humble beginnings. And save, invest. A lot of us don't know how to do these things. So we need to learn how we need to save, how to invest, and just keep educating yourself. Education is not just certificate and school.
Exactly.
It's also learning what percentage of my income should I invest.
Yes.
What percentage should I save?
Yes.
You know, and then also understanding long-term, medium-term, rainy day savings, all of that. So that's, for me, is what we need to do as women.
All right, thank you. Any final notes?
Just in addition to everything, because everything, it's spot on, it's just to continue from where you stopped, is in doing all of that, understanding that empower women, yes, passion and all of that, discipline and all. But the major thing is, as a woman, even when you're running your business, you must be disciplined. Because sometimes I've seen women who started up, and because it failed, be like, I'm done.
Yeah,
Just
they give up on time.
stay
Stay
on
the
it
course.
and
Yeah.
stay on the course and know that, yes, you can do more.
Thank you very much, my power women. It was a pleasure having you. Thank you for joining us. And it's that time of the show where I give you this. Courtesy Knorr, you're going on with a gift box filled with lots of gift items.
Thank you
So
so much.
just thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Knorr.
I sincerely appreciate you. Thank you for continuing to strive in your various fields and various sectors. We see you and we are waiting for you constantly. And thank you very much, Chef Emeka, for a delicious meal.
Thank you, really nice.
Thank you. It was really yum. I had told myself that my place must not be empty. Everybody's plate is still filled up.
Yeah.
And on that note, I do hope you've been inspired by this conversation. If there's one thing I'm taking home from this, it's the fact that you have the major role